All right.
All right. All right. All right. All right. Hi.
Hey. Hey.
Hi.
How are y'all doing?
Close that. Let's change that noise gate a bit.
All right. And we're here. How are we doing, everyone?
Okay. There we go.
I think we're doing all right now. See, this should probably be moved up.
Yeah, see my...
Bring up the,
Oh, yeah. There we go.
Bring up the lower end of my voice.
Bring it up to like 6.1.
And then we come over here to number 6, which is 273 or 277. And we bring that up a bit, and I think we're good.
Okay. So, what do I have to talk about today? Well, it's a little bit. Here in the title, you might see the problem with theory. I don't necessarily have a problem with theory in and of itself. I've been extraordinarily busy, but I kind of want to show you guys a thing. I haven't written more than this. I should. I need to update information in here. But I have read theory. As much as people, want to say I haven't, because they seem to think that my interpretations of it are just wrong, and that means I haven't read theory. And I haven't actually read all theory, although I'm taking the meme position whenever somebody says I need to read theory, that I've read all theory. So, take that as you will. But I have read most of the archive of Lenin's work. I've read State and Revolution. I've read Capital 3 times. I've read the Manifesto of the Communist Party, which isn't actually theory, but it's in here. I've read the Little Red Book. I've read Guerrilla Warfare. I've read On Origin of Family and Private Property. I've read the Green Book of Socialism that Gaddafi wrote. I've read writings, pamphlets and stuff written by Lenin, Stalin, Trotsky, Marx, Engels, Rosa Luxemburg. I've listened to interviews and read writings from Angela Davis. I've gone through so much leftist theory. So, I want to go ahead and talk about the problems I have, not necessarily with theory, as clickbaity as this title is. I want to talk about the problems I have with the online left and their quote-unquote interpretations of theory. Right? Personally, I think Lenin had a slight misinterpretation of theory when he came up with his ideology. He saw dictatorship of the proletariat and completely ignored when Marx said that workers cannot just take hold of the ready-made state machinery, the state apparatus, for their own purposes. Like, there's a lot that goes on in the interpretation. Marx, I think, is probably the best theorist overall. And I know a lot of people will be like, but it's super cliche, and Marx is just one of many people who wrote about socialism. Yeah, a lot of the other people who wrote about socialism, fucking Mao, Lenin, and Stalin. No. I I don't consider them good theorists. Trotsky was pretty good, in my opinion, but Trotsky, unlike Stalin, had the idea to have global revolution for permanent global communism. You needed to be able to uplift the third world, back in his day, the global south today, to where they can work on socialism without interference from imperialist countries. Seems good. So there's a lot of misinterpretations that I feel come up in Marxist, in the Marxist circles, specifically along the dictatorship of the proletariat, for one. That does not just mean overthrow the capitalists and take hold of the fucking government. There are steps, there are transitions, there are things that must be done before the broader populace is able to do this. Now, a vanguard party, I have posted before that Lenin denounced vanguardism, and I think the more appropriate way to have worded this is that Lenin denounced the way in which the vanguard party was utilized inside of the USSR. The violent revolution that didn't really improve their conditions overall. Vanguardism can be done in a bunch of different ways, and the only way that I technically support is having people in positions like what I'm in, people in positions like what Vosh is in, or Dylan Burns, Hakeem. I have disagreements with Hakeem, but he is smart, and he's in a position of a proletariat who can help educate the workers. I don't see it as the group of people who will gather arms and lead the revolution. No. You are preparing the populace to be able to move forward. That is what a vanguard is. This is how Marx interpreted a vanguard. Because, that's where the original idea came from. Now, Marx also believed in command economies, and every time they've been tried, they have been miserable failures, so you do have to take some of the stuff with a grain of salt. You also have to apply it to modern circumstances, which is another thing that lefties do not fucking do. They just read the words on the page, they'll read State and Revolution, and they'll go, oh, well, Lenin said this verbatim, so obviously that means we need to take this idea and use it over here in a country with completely different material conditions, completely different political climate, completely different populace as far as their levels of radicalization. This one isn't a failure on Lenin's part, because Lenin himself came out and said that you need to meet the people at their levels of radicalization, lest you become a windbag, as infantile as the fucking something or other. I don't remember the exact full quote. Now, why would Lenin say that if he was advocating to do all these things in one, to do all the stuff that he promotes across the entire world, no matter the country? Why would he talk about meeting people at their levels of radicalization? Well, it's because, unlike a lot of the online left that I've come across today, Lenin, while I disagree with him on a lot, was not a complete fucking idiot. Like, seriously. Not a complete idiot. I disagree with him on some stuff moving forward, but Lenin's also... Lenin himself is not responsible for all of the travesties that were done by the USSR. Stalin is the big proponent of that. Now, if you actually read history and theory, Lenin stated pretty plainly that he thought that Stalin should not be the leader of the Soviet Union, that he should not hold the General Secretary's position, and that Trotsky was better suited for it. Trotsky, he had labeled as the perfect Bolshevik. I believe the full quote is, once Trotsky recognized that the class conflict could not be resolved by using the state itself, because the state is a proponent, a perpetuator of the class struggle. Once Trotsky realized that they could not be used to resolve this antagonism, he became the perfect Bolshevik. Trotsky was better. I don't mind Trotsky so much. I don't think he was good necessarily, but I think he was better. The problem I see, again, with this approach that people have, is that they read that Lenin said to do this thing here in Russia, and they just go, oh, do it here in America, do it in Bolivia, do it in Brazil, do it in fucking Taiwan or whatever. They don't have an analysis. Lenin himself wrote that this strategy was made for the people of Russia, to bring Russia about to a communist society. I don't think it worked, but he did specify that his tactics were specific to the country. Because he also, at the same time that he was telling Russians to take up arms and take over their government, was advocating for people in the UK to vote for the Reformist Labour Party. Now, why would he say that? He told people not to vote for reformist parties. Well, see, he did. He told people in Russia not to vote for reformist parties. But he told the British people, the people in the UK, hey, if you vote for this reformist party as socialists, you can then use that. You can take that, the failures of the reformism, to try and push people further to the left. To radicalize people, showing, hey, it's not just the fact that there are conservatives, it's the fact that your entire economic system perpetuates this. That was his prescription for Britain. And he had a whole different prescription for how to deal with things in, like, India at the time. They were separate things because Lenin recognized that the material conditions and the political conditions and the public will in different areas is going to be different. Not every single person, not every leftist in Russia is going to have the exact same perspective on how to approach things as the people in America. Okay? They're two different fucking countries. They have two different political climates. They are just very different in a lot of regards. So when I see lefties talk about how you need to just, like, read theory or whatever, half these dipshits don't know how to interpret the theory. Case in point. Vosh put out a tweet that stated that people seem to think that he's bourgeois because he has money, because he's wealthy now. And people who told me that I need to go out and read theory, quote retweeted him and say, because he was like, wealth doesn't determine your class position. And these people who come out and say, oh, you need to read theory, you don't understand, you don't read Marx, you don't read Lenin, you need to read Mao. People who've done that to me, quote retweeted it with, well, what the fuck does determine your class then? In a Marxian sense, the thing that determines your class is your relationship to the means of production, whether or not you own it or if you employ other people to work. That is what determines your fucking class, you stupid pieces of shit. Don't ever come and tell me to read theory when you don't understand the basic theory that you are claiming that you have read. Okay? Don't do it. Because then you get shit like that. And I'm not gonna lie, I've had a blast the past week laughing at people in that position where they're going, but I was talking about the lower, middle, and upper classes, not classes in a Marxian sense, even though that's expressly what Vosh was saying by saying bourgeois. But no, you can't. I swear I just had a drink. Oh, it's right there. No, you can't say that you're not bourgeois because you're wealthy, and then when we try and say that you are bourgeois because you're wealthy, you can't then call us out when we try and backtrack and say that we were talking about a different kind of class. I have fun laughing at these people. And I know there's going to be some people who come under my video and they're going to comment about how I'm a dummy and I don't know anything and why did I delete another video? Why did I delete this one video? Because I was getting dunked on or whatever. Let me just point out, this is the video they're talking about. Right here. It's on the channel. 37 views 2 days ago. There was a lot of harassment on there. I unlisted it for less than 16 hours so that I could do a better structure. And then I thought about it and I went, yeah, fuck it. I'll just re-upload it. And by re-upload, I mean put it back to not being a private video or whatever. So I mean, they can come re-brigade the people that I had just blocked from the channel for mass harassment. They're unblocked. I just needed to take a little bit of time to be able to get some fucking sleep without my phone blowing up constantly. Because even though I don't have YouTube notifications turned on as a general thing, I have very specific notifications on. It still gives me notifications whenever any sort of person decides to try and like come comment on my shit. Because it's my channel. So I just had to remove them from being able to blow my phone up at 2 o'clock in the morning when I had to wake up in 3 hours. Okay. So yes, this video right here, it's not the best one. It's not awful. This one I think is better. This is a much better version of the same video. So I mean, it's already got 2 views. What? Wait, hold on. What was the thing up here? I don't know. Yeah, see. Yes, we know you're wrong. You have a right. You have yet to be right, unlike Jimmy, who was proven right about force the vote. No. No, he wasn't. And yes, I did reply. No, Jimmy Dore was not proven right on force the vote. Jimmy Dore was proven wrong on force the vote. And only a brain-dead dipshit could think he was proven right. And this is why I, honestly, this is going to be probably the last thing I say on Jimmy Dore for a little while. Jimmy Dore has cultivated an audience who was too fucking stupid to recognize legitimate criticisms of him and to recognize when he was actually wrong. And he'll never tell you when he was wrong. He'll just claim he was right all the time. Because that's Jimmy Dore. He doesn't actually care. It's not something he gives a shit about. And this is why I call him a grifter. I don't think he cares about his positions. Even if he does believe in some of them, I don't think he actually cares about them. Which is why he has no problem coming up with dipshit ideas like force the vote, admit publicly that he knew it was going to fail, and then convince his audience that Jimmy was right and force the vote was not a failure. I don't know how the fuck you can come to this conclusion. I don't know how the fuck you can how you could handle being so incredibly dishonest to your audience, which, let's face it, my audience is, I have 34 subscribers, but the general amount of people who watch my shit is not that high. As you can see. 4 views, but now that was a minute long. 2 views, but that was earlier today. This was 3 days ago, 2 views, fit an hour. Like, this is a video that I put, I had an idea, and I made a video on it, pretty much right then and there. Same thing with this. These 2 videos were made on the same day, in the same stream. And I believe that both of them came out of this stream. 41 views. Anytime I mention Jimmy Dore, this shit blows up, and his lackeys come and antagonize. But if I don't mention Jimmy Dore, or some other big streamer or whatever, yeah, look, I put Biden in here, and I got 11 views. And I also put Venezuela. Six views there, 5 there. So, I mean, as you can see, my views are pretty much non-existent. And I will hold true to the values and views that I have, the positions that I have, until they are able to be brought forth by somebody who is reasonable and shown to be wrong. Now, nobody reasonable has come forth to tell me that what I say is wrong. Now, I have my reasons for saying why I don't think they're reasonable. It's not just because I don't think I'm incapable of being criticized. I certainly am. Hell, I've gotten criticized before on this channel. And you know what? They were right. However, the people commenting under this kind of shit, they're not right. They have brainworms. They're stupid. Force the Vote was a failure. Just... Anyways, so yeah, one of the big deals that I have a problem with has been people misinterpreting theory at me all over the place. Because I tell you, I don't put a source in here until I've looked over it. So I've at least read everything on this list a minimum of one time. Minimum. Now, some of these... yeah, see, these are all stolen works right here. This is about mutual aid. This is the book. Mutual aid. Kropotkin. Pretty solid stuff. I've read. Peter Kropotkin. So, all I gotta say is, half the people telling me to read theory haven't read anywhere near the amount of theory that I have, and the people who have gotten close to reading the theory I have haven't actually tried to interpret the theory. They just read the things on the page and go, okay. They don't go, how did he arrive at these arguments, or she arrive at these arguments, these conclusions? What kind of logic led them there? What were the material conditions of the place? What was the political climate like? They don't evaluate it. They don't analyze it. They just read it. And reading is not enough. So you know what? Anyone who watches me, I want you to come out and every time somebody says, read theory, I want you to reply to them, interpret theory. Don't just fucking read it. Reading it isn't good enough. If you're going to tell people to read theory, those people need to be able to interpret the theory. But they don't. Now, let me give a pretty decent example, one that I feel like I could actually substantiate very well. I came out, same as Vosh, and said Marx, Engels, and Lenin would have voted for Joe Biden in the 2020 election. They would have done it. Now, I've had people tell me that there was no way that Lenin or Engels or Marx would ever have knuckled down and bitten the bullet and gone to vote for Joe Biden because they advocated for different things. Well, Lenin did actually advocate to vote for a reformist party, and the only party we have that has any chance of getting a seat in the White House, any chance at holding power, is the Democratic Party. Green Party, fucking irrelevant. It sucks. I want the Green Party to grow. I want them to be at the table, able to break the duopoly. But as it stands right now, with the current material conditions, Democrats. You've got Democrats and you've got Republicans. So you have Democrats who, because the party can be more left, can push the party left and actually start getting some more semi-progressive policies pushed through. Not to say that they will be a leftist party, but they will be a more left-leaning party. Meanwhile, you've got the Republicans, who are anywhere between too scared to actually look into Marxism, and they have some semi-socially acceptable views usually not, but some of them are, and their economic views are fucking dog shit, all the way to actual, literal Nazis. So, if you're in a position where you have to vote for one of the two, or abstain, which one do you think Marx would do? Well, Marx recognized that liberal bourgeois democracy was preferable to far-right authoritarian forms of government. And, well, the Republican Party is pretty far-right and fairly authoritarian. So, Marx would probably go, in America, at this particular time, we have to understand the positions that the material conditions. We can't advocate for a violent revolution because you tell me any militia in America that could take on the might of the U.S. Army. Not going to happen. It's not going to happen. Especially if, as leftists, we get our major goal, which is to get our military-industrial complex out of other fucking countries. Because then what are they gonna do? They're not fighting fucking stupid-ass foreign wars for nothing. They're all here, in America, where they aren't spread thin. So, if you analyze the material conditions of America today, there ain't no fucking way that a violent revolution is going to take over the government. So you have to kind of take a different path. Well, what's that? What's the only other path you can get a grab on the seat of power? Well, that'd be through electoralism, which Marx didn't really like too much, but he recognized the necessity of it. So, Marx, understanding this particular dichotomy, this dialectic, if you will, people, workers, who don't have automatic guns, bombs, airplanes, drones, helicopters, all the military tech that our military does, or the high-grade military tech. Let's see. Who's going to win that engagement? Well, seems like the people who are better equipped, better trained, they're probably going to win it. So, you look at the electoral side and you go, okay, the Democrats aren't a good party, but they're the more left-leaning party that actually has a shot, so you vote for that one, while you use the failures of that to push everybody further left. So you can potentially get a further left party put into power, so that as things continue on in that trend, you will eventually have a leftist government, or a left-leaning, a greater degree of charitability for the left, to the left. Which is preferable. It's not perfect, but it is preferable. It would advance the material conditions of marginalized people. Now, if you look at, let's say, Engels hated the state. He didn't really like electoral politics at all. And in some instances, if I remember correctly, he even talked about not voting and abstaining. However, Engels also would recognize that if your government is going to fall to a far-right, authoritarian, fascistic leader, you should probably get engaged to make sure that that doesn't happen, because that's the only time it's not acceptable to vote, is when there is such a great risk. Putting marginalized communities at risk because your guy didn't get the nomination, that right there is the thing that Engels and Marx would have condemned. Lenin would have probably been slightly more accepting of it, due to the fact that Lenin himself said you need to put forth a workers' party to showcase your strength and start organizing, regardless of if they would win. However, as I mentioned before, Lenin also told the leftists in the UK to vote for the Labour Party, who at the time was a reformist party, not a revolutionary party. Now, why would he do that if he didn't think that voting for a major party was going to be good? Well, because he also recognized that in the position that they were in at the time, they needed the Labour Party to be in power, because A, there was absolutely no shot at even organizing a leftist party at the time, well enough to be able to accomplish anything or showcase your strength. It would have been fucking useless. Same thing in 2020. On top of that, when he was advocating for the social or for the Reformist Party, the Labour Party, that government was at threat of falling to a far-right authoritarian. So, all three of these theorists recognize that material conditions and political climate were extraordinarily fucking important. And they recognize that you have to take different approaches based on where you're at and those conditions. And modern leftists disregard the material conditions or the political climate. They just fold their arms and they go, well, Lenin wouldn't have voted. Yes, he fucking would have. Marx wouldn't have voted. Yes, he definitely fucking would have. Engels wouldn't have voted. Engels, maybe not. In most circumstances, same thing with Lenin. But under the circumstances that we were in 2020, they would have fucking voted for Biden. They would have done it because they recognized what was going on, where we were at, what the alternatives were. They recognized this shit. But lefties online, they don't actually understand the arguments that were made. They don't follow the logic. They just read the words and they absorb only the basic words. No analysis, no interpretation, just regurgitating like an NPC. It's pathetic, and I am tired of seeing this shit from a movement that should be dominating the political sphere all over the place. But it's because of dumb fucks. We have so many idiots that want to be leftists, and I'm not gonna lie. If you're an idiot and you want to be a leftist, that's fine. But try and learn a little bit from other people, please. I talk to quite a few people, especially on like Twitter and stuff. I reach out to marginalized communities and ask for different perspectives. And I can take those perspectives into account while I'm making these claims. And a big one that I've seen more recently, not from the fucking tankies, the people on Twitter who have ML, they're fucking 14 or whatever, no, those dipshits, nah, fuck them. They're dumb, they don't understand. But from older people of color, people in their 20s to 60s, those people went, there's no way a leftist party is going to get anything done here. We're not going to gain power that way, and if we try and vote for him, we're going to have a fascist. Biden isn't perfect, but he is preferable to another term of Trump. I don't like Biden, but he was preferable. And that's the sentiment that I've come across from large swaths of the people I've talked to that are people of color. Black people, Latin people, Asian people, fucking native peoples, like, holy shit. It's a pretty universal thing from people who are older, who are educated. Biden was a concession. Bernie didn't win. Bernie got fucked. That happens. It did. Bernie was pretty well fucked, and I know that fucking Destiny will come out and be like, Bernie wasn't fucked. These leftists are just salty because they don't understand how this happened and this happened. No, I think Destiny simple, like, he gets to be reductionist with some of these arguments. He's a smart dude overall, but on this one, he needs to shut the fuck up because he doesn't understand. Okay? I like Destiny in some regards. I also dislike him in a lot of others. He's a liberal. He's a capitalist. Man, I don't even like him as much as I like Bastiat. Bastiat's my favorite liberal. It's the hair. It really is. But come on. Come on. Ugh. We've got to get people to be smarter and more analytical about how they approach this shit. The same people who were saying that, you know, Marx and Engels and shit would never have voted for Biden, they would have abstained and let the country fall to fucking Trump. These same dipshits are people who misunderstand how you determine what class you're in a Marxian sense. We've got to do better. We can do better. So why don't we? Well, let me go ahead and do a little bit of analysis here. The people who were in that particular camp of the Bernier bust, most of them couldn't even vote. They're underage. They can't vote. And they held massive sways online because they just threw out positions that were fucking brain dead, and people went, yeah, yeah! People who are older than them and should ostensibly know more about politics than them, but they obviously don't. They wanted a virtue signal. Now, the people who were old enough to vote and still advocated for holding off on voting for Biden and shit, the socialist MMAs, the Jimmy Dores, the shit like that, fucking brain dead analysis. It was so difficult to go back and watch the Vaush versus socialist MMA debate because he couldn't engage. He was incapable of engaging in the actual arguments. The conversation went nowhere. Same thing with Vaush versus Nico House. Like, I followed Nico. I listened to him, I read his shit, I talked to him a little bit, and then I heard him actually try and, like, defend some of his positions in front of somebody that was fairly well educated. Because this was, like, 2 years ago that I came across Nico and actually had a conversation in private with him. And at the time, I was still kind of moving more left. I was more in the social democrat side of things than I am now, but still. I was like, oh, okay, yeah, I can kind of see these arguments. I can kind of see that. I'm with Bernie, you know. Because this is before the Bernie or bust positions. And then as soon as Bernie got fucked over and dropped and endorsed Biden, I went, okay, Bernie is politically smarter than I am. It's true. Bernie's been running the game for fucking 30 years trying to fight for workers. Bernie is the smartest leftist that we've ever had elected. And he's the smartest leftist we have commentating on politics from the inside. AOC is also pretty smart on it, although I do think she makes some pretty big mistakes. But Bernie is the guy, okay? Nobody knows more about how to navigate through our political system as an actual fucking leftist than Bernie Sanders. So any of you dumb motherfuckers who point to Bernie and you go, oh, he sold out. He's no longer socialist Papa Bernie Sanders. No, you're just stupid as fuck and you're salty because you don't understand how the game works. You don't know how to play it. And if you don't know how to play it, you need to shut your fucking mouth. Straight up. Because I am infinitely tired of hearing dumb fuck takes from dumb fuck people who don't know what they're doing. It's the same thing with this fucking AOC needs to be voted out of office thing. No! Why would you vote out a progressive when we still have fucking Republicans in Congress, okay? Get them out. Get a leftist in. If you can get Green Party candidates voted into the House and into the Senate, that's fine. That's phenomenal. That's fantastic. We can start weeding the Republicans out. That way it's the Democrats versus the Green Party. If we only have to have two parties, obliterate the Republicans and bring in the Green Party, so that our right-leaning party is the Democrats. And our left-leaning party is an actual socialist party. But that doesn't seem to be the thing that people are actually going to do, because the people who advocate to vote for third party don't go out and fucking vote! You can't tell people, oh, we just need to break the duopoly. Blah, 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 blah. Oh, it's voting time? What does voting even matter? Voting doesn't change anything. Your vote's not going to do anything. It doesn't matter if you vote for a Green Party candidate. They're going to get screwed by the establishment. You stupid motherfucker, you're being counterproductive and you're being counter-revolutionary. Shut up. Just shut it. Seriously. It's pathetic. The behavior I see from online leftists like this, pathetic. I'm overwhelmingly confused by how people come to their thought processes. Because every time I've asked people, it's jumbled nonsense. I either get, well, if you look at the material conditions of this country 75 fucking years ago, and you read this particular line of text from this theoretical framework, then you should understand that this is exactly how we, in a completely different era, in a completely different country, in a completely different political climate, need to operate. Or you just get, have you not read State and Revolution, bruh? Have you not read Guerrilla Warfare? Mao's Little Red Book? Have you not read it, bruh? Because if you had, you'd understand how I came to my conclusions. No, I need you, the next motherfucker that wants to tell me that they have a solid understanding, a solid groundwork for why their strategy is going to be successful and how they came to it. I need you to explain to me the logic on how you came to these conclusions, not point me to a fucking theorist, okay? And just tell me I need to read that to understand. No, I want to know your logical breakdown on this shit. Vote for AOC. Don't vote for AOC. We need to primary her because, Kropotkin wouldn't have wanted AOC in office. Well, for one, Kropotkin doesn't want anyone in office. He was an anarchist. And for two, I don't give a fuck what Kropotkin would have wanted. What is your logical argument against voting for her? Is it just because you think Kropotkin wouldn't want her? Well, he's not a god. Not everything he says is law. Okay, so shut the fuck up and think for yourself. Now, how do I come to my conclusion on this? Let's see. Should we or should we not keep AOC in office? Yes. Why? Okay, here we go. Logical breakdown. Well, if you look at the breakdown of the Senate and the House by party, you've got some 218 current Democrats in the House and 50 Democrats in the Senate. 218 in the House, 5 missing. Well, you've got 212 Republicans. So, if you actually want to get socialist policies done, is it smarter to replace a current leftist or progressive in Congress and keep your numbers the exact same, or is it smarter, more productive, to actually replace somebody who is counter to the progressive movement, most specifically, if they're a Republican in a weaker district, in a more swing district, where you think you could get a progressive fucking elected. Hell, if you do it right, you can get a progressive elected on the Republican Party, and that right there can start a shift. Okay, so there's 2 different fucking ways to go about it, but none of them involve, actually there's like 30 different ways to go about it, but none of them involve replacing current progressives, while you still have the work to do. Now, if a progressive isn't holding up to their end, we've actually got a decent leverage to where we can actually start getting more progressive policies implemented, and there's just progressives standing in the way over and over, maybe you replace them. But until we actually have numbers that are relevant, until we have a leftist base of voters that is fucking relevant, we need to shut up with the replace current progressives narrative, because it's just harmful. It is counterproductive, okay? Because you start replacing current progressives with new progressives, that doesn't grow our fucking numbers, and we're in the exact same boat, and you repeat this process, because the current progressive doesn't have the leverage to be able to implement the shit that they want to be able to do, the shit that they campaigned on. They don't have the ability to, because they don't have the power to. They don't have that leverage. They don't have any way to get to the negotiating table properly. And yes, there's some niche instances where a singular congressperson can hold up a bill and get some concessions in. But it also has you also have to think about the PR kind of nightmare with the establishment Democrats and the Republicans. Because the corporate Dems will reach behind your back, make a concession to a Republican because they will want less than what you want, and they'll get the Republican to vote with them to override you. So what we need is a solid base of progressives that can't be outdone by a couple of Republicans. We need more principled progressives in there that can stick to their guns more so than any Republican, because Republicans in weaker districts won't do stupid shit. I mean, they'll do bad things, but their approach will be infinitely politically smarter than half the online left that I've seen talking about electoral politics. Because the other half doesn't give a shit and they're just checked out, which is, it's sad. I understand why. It is sad. So there's a quick, semi-quick example of how you need to use analysis and political conditions and material conditions of a country, a state, a city, a district, on how to vote as opposed to just throwing out read a theorist, read theory. Okay? Because 90% of you don't understand the theory that you claim that you've read, that you go and tell people to read. Okay? It's something that really makes me, like, it irritates me, but it didn't really irritate me until, okay.
According to the U.S. Bureau of Justice Statistics, on average, police officers across our country receive less than 6 months of basic training. Only a little.
Almost an hour done here. Let's see, where are we at? One playback, one concurrent viewer, 13 minutes average watch time. Thank you for tuning in. I know you're probably somebody who hates me, but thanks for tuning in. So, we understand what's going on, right? Like, is my argument good? Like, does it make sense at all? Because I feel like it does. Because all I'm saying is that you need to understand the conditions of an area. Before you start making prescriptions about how they need to engage in electoral politics or anything. And if you don't think people should engage in electoral politics, that's on you. You're wrong. Like, seriously. Sociologists, political analysts, scientists, pretty much everybody who isn't a complete dipshit will tell you, yeah, you probably should get involved in the electoral process, specifically, so that you can have a say. You don't have much of a say. One vote, one person, you know, or vice versa, one person, one vote. But come on, like, your say isn't going to be overwhelming, but we're not authoritarians here. I mean, some people are, but the people who watch me, hopefully, are not authoritarians. Because I am very much against the authoritarian mindset. No, let's see.
Yeah. Okay, hold on. Okay, I saw the Rap God supercut earlier. The last Hippy Dippy Royale. Hold on, there's a Reddit post. Something like the last Hippy Dippy Royale was a substantial improvement Vosh debate style good faith critique. All right. Now, in the interest of enlightened centrism, I'm also going to shit on this one. Okay? Get ready for it. Okay? This follow-up to Vosh debate's been getting worse, and post highlighting how Vosh rhetoric has improved in the latest debate. It's not enough to just point out the flaws in a content creator. You have to praise the good action of the content to improve. This person is a cuckold, and I fucked their dad.
Jesus. Okay. Now, I know this is memes right here. I've watched enough of this guy to know this is memes.
I fucked their dad so hard, afterwards I asked if they could name all of their children, and they couldn't come up with one name, okay? So this person right here has been giga-cucked, and I'm now their ultra dad, okay? Sorry, we'll actually engage with this. Okay.
Yeah. I do, okay, to be fair, Vosh, again, this is going to be good faith criticism. I think he does have a very, very, very mild, bit of a problem with narcissism, but I can't talk shit. I also have a little bit of a problem with it. I don't like to be critiqued. Are you fucking kidding me? Now I've gone over, not to say that I just ignore all critiques. I ignore bad faith critiques. Like this guy. people coming in essentially, people coming onto one of my videos and saying, you're dumb and you didn't provide any evidence in this video that I didn't watch where you provided evidence. You guys do know that I can check the analytics and see how long you're watching, right? Like, I can see. So if you've only watched for 45 seconds, I can tell that you've only watched for like 45 fucking seconds. I know. I do. I know. Trust me. So, when you come in and you try and make criticisms of me, and I can obviously tell that you didn't watch anything that I did, I can just ignore it. I'll dunk on you. And when you come in and you say that you were dunking on me for the dumbest shit that I've ever read, to the point where I had to remove you from the channel because you were spouting off so much dumb shit in a harassing manner, the FAQ motherfucker who will be commenting on my shit, this one right here, and another one named Jeffrey Hanala, both horrible fucking people, for one. Like, I've interacted with them. I can make this judgment call based on my interactions with them. Terrible fucking people. Some of the worst people that you will ever come across. Now let me substantiate this a little bit. Files. It's this one right here. Let me just do things. Hold on. Okay. Because I don't really care about making this too much of a thing. Again, because I refuse to engage with the bad faith fucking attacks that dipshits were engaging in, Jeffrey Hanala specifically, on Facebook, they doctored a post on my Facebook and sent it to my mother about how I've always wanted to have sex with her. That's right. These people will doctor posts if you don't engage with their bad faith. Okay? I have their name hidden, at least the last name, because I don't want to be accused of doxing somebody or sending people to harass them, even though I'm like a 34 fucking sub-streamer. Don't say it because I don't care. I think this is the one? Yes. Give me a moment again. I don't want names to be released. So, this right here is the original post. They changed it to say that I've always had a Oedipus complex since I was 4 or whatever. And this is the original post. The only thing they left in here was the fact that there were 7 total reactions, likes, and, if you notice here, with 3 shares, done on May 21st, with the Oklahoma City Police Department tagged. And this is about an anti-protest bill and police protection bill that I mentioned on Facebook and have made a video about. It's pretty fucking horrible, actually. So they took this post right there, the one that you just saw disappear off your screen because doing a thing, and they turned it into this. So you can compare. 7 total reactions, just like the post I showed you. 3 shares, just like the post I showed you. March 21st, just like the post I showed you. Oklahoma City Police Department is the tag, just like I showed you. And then I changed it. I've wanted my mother since I was a young man of only 4 years old. Her magnificent breasts called out to me. If this is wrong, take me away. They had my mother calling me while she was at work over this post. I was also at work. I had 2,000 pounds that I was moving. So this stupid piece of shit, these bad faith, horrendous individuals, got so fucking mad that I criticized Jimmy Dore that they went ahead and made up a defamatory post to try and send to my mother. That's right. They're blocked on my Facebook. That's why they went to my mom. Because they couldn't get back to me. Because Jeffrey was demanding that I fucking debate him. I'm gonna point out a couple of things here, everybody. A, I'm not a debate channel. I don't do debate. I like watching debate, but I'm not a debater. I don't do it. At least not right now. At least not right now. But as it sits, I don't actually do debates. Okay? And for two, even if I did do debates, there is literally no point in debating somebody as bad faith and horrible as Jeffrey. For one, he will not be capable of understanding any of the arguments that I put forth. I've been arguing with him on Facebook for weeks. This dipshit is incapable of understanding arguments. He can't do it. Either that or he's just so fucking bad faith that he refuses to acknowledge the actual argument that you make, goes off on a straw man argument that you didn't fucking make, and then tries to hold you to that one. So, actually, no, I'm not even going to pull the punches here. He's both bad faith and critically stupid. I've never come across somebody with a more smooth brain than this Jeffrey motherfucker, okay? Not just that his brain met a fucking iron. No, it met an iron and it was covered in the smoothest marble you could possibly cover it in. The smoothest surface you could find, to where nothing could allow it to become a wrinkle. So that he just can't absorb the information. It is physically impossible for somebody as stupid as Jeffrey Hanala to engage in good faith. Okay? Zoe Carver? Or Jeffrey, fuck it. Zoe, you're stupid as fuck too. And, you're extraordinarily lucky that I'm not a super petty bitch. Otherwise, there'd be a lawsuit going on for your ass over this kind of shit. Okay? But I don't like the state, and I'd rather not use the police. So, what I'm gonna do here is this is the public call-out. Okay? Jeffrey, Zoe, neither of you two are physically capable of understanding any argument that I make, much less being able to come up with a coherent one yourselves. You defend Stalin, you defend the USSR, you defend China in its current day, and you deny the Uyghur genocide. You are the lowest pieces of shit that try and claim to be on the left that has ever walked this fucking earth. The lowest pieces of shit that could ostensibly maybe be labeled as leftist. You are worth nothing, you will amount to nothing. You mean nothing, and you are not worth the attention, time, or energy past this point that I could give you. I won't. You are not worth it. So, any further interaction from you is A, just harassment, and B, just going to be laughed off because I don't engage with people who have fucking marbles for brains. Alright? Okay. We're done there with that. Alright? Jeffrey? Zoe? Gone. Blast that out of my mind. Any further engagement? Fuck them. They're too stupid to understand. any criticisms they have, bad faith, and they're stupid. They don't understand. Any comments they want to make, fuck them. Blow them up in the comment section. Ridicule them. Let them know that they are no longer worth any effort, any time, any brain power. They're useless. And the sooner they shut the fuck up and stop trying to be part of the leftist movement, the better off we will all be. So that's it for them. They're done. Fuck them. We're out. At least on that point. I am probably going to take a break and start playing some games, though. Ooh, somebody watched for 20 minutes. Alright. That's like half the time I've been streaming almost. Oh, getting up there. So, how's the stream health been? No data. Yeah, it is. I don't. It showed up right here. Give me a second to check my settings, I guess. Oh, I can't even. Okay, well, it's showing up, so it's probably healthy. We're probably good. Anyways, I feel like taking a quick break. Hopefully that's not a problem for y'all. If it is a problem for you, sucks to suck. And I will be back here in a few minutes, probably about 5. I do have some other stuff to do today. I had to go to a funeral before, in between the streams, because I did one stream earlier, and then I went to a funeral, and then I came back, and now I'm streaming again. And then I got some stuff to do later. So, I will be back here in a little bit, and we'll continue on. Okay. We're back. Let me swap those around so that I can actually... Okay. So. Ooh. What are my tags at the moment? Oh, it's got the fucking Streamlabs donation because I'm not on Streamlabs. Okay. Actually, let's move this over to Twitch. Alright, go here. Go there. Boom. Go there. Follow me on there. I'm gonna jump on some Outriders. We're gonna talk some more. Let's enjoy, okay? Let's go. Like, comment, subscribe on this one. Go and fucking debate dumbasses. Let's do this, okay? Enjoy.